Going live. Mark Roach, Transcendent. Trying something new. I'm going to go back and look at some of the responses that I've been seeing from people online and do it live here with you. See if there's anybody available that might want to chat, and I could respond and let you know what I think. Haven't been on Transcendent in a little while. I've taken a little breather from posting on Transcendent. A lot of my work in this genre has been through the Headroom Tonight channel, where I've been doing kind of stand-up comedy and some skit work to move some of the same thoughts forward that I've evolved with over the years on Transcendent. Of course, you can also go to roachcreative.com and see virtually all of my output, the books that I've written and published, as well as the work that I do in oil and gas and upstream videos for FutureWise Energy. And then, of course, Transcendent's a YouTube channel, and also I think on Facebook you can find some of the same content. And Finding Your Groove is the name of the page there. I think Transcendent was already taken, and I also publish this information on TikTok. So I'll probably take this live stream and download it and repost it on TikTok and on that Finding Your Groove on Facebook. I don't have enough. There's not enough of a following on Facebook for this to qualify for live streaming on Facebook. At least on that channel. I think I can put this on Headroom Tonight. I think that may be where it's going right now. Anyway, my first chance to do this live streaming today. I've not done it before. I just started experimenting, and I'm kind of fascinated with going live and interacting with people. I'm kind of bummed that it's not easy to just do video things live, but maybe I'll figure out how to do that soon, and we can have some live interactions. But I am fascinated with the idea of doing more live commentary and speaking from just off the cuff rather than from a prepared, scripted and researched context, kind of like I like to work in the moment and challenge myself to do something new. So that's why I'm going live here right now, and I'm kind of struggling with the software today. So bear with me, because I'm wanting to see I understand you need to announce these chats and the time that they're going to happen. People discover. I just did one for FutureWise Energy, and I did have 2 or 3 people jump in from YouTube, and Facebook, and so maybe we might get some random views here right now. But let me tell you some stuff that I had on my mind here from some research that I'd been doing just recently. Let's find this. Oh, okay. So, I ask for an independent opinion of the stuff I've been putting on YouTube and on Facebook, and from this channel called Transcendent, and it says that well, here's the feedback. It says, my content has 5 ready-made angles: post-traumatic growth, quiet, cracking burnout. It's kind of an interesting phrase. Authenticity versus AI, and the meaning crisis, and community and belonging, all mapped to, well, the series of books that I wrote called The Awakening Chronicles. I've also put out 3 other books. There's 25 books in that series of The Awakening Chronicles. And there's also a couple of screenplays that I wrote, plus a book called The Gap. And I adapted those 2 screenplays into novels. One's called The Shah's Granddaughter, and the other is called Meat Suit. So you can find those on KDP. And of course, all of my work's on roachcreative.com. You can see videos that I've made and put on various platforms, as well as even movies that I've made, which are mostly kind of small independent films, made here in Austin. But this feedback says that there's so much AI anxiety that it's timely to discuss that. And that actually that's a topic that's really gone viral. And I guess, I think I described to that independent party what I was thinking about doing, and it was really getting, I was getting a lot of encouragement to come online and go live with Transcendent. And well, I had a series of videos that were kind of, well, seven, I think, that are actually out on the Transcendent site that are well, internally they were referred to as the Charlie Kirk series of videos. And this is saying that those are structurally distinct from all the other work that I've done on Transcendent, and they could run as a serialized show, which I understand YouTube is kind of favoring and promoting right now. So sorry. Well, let's go and see if I've got anybody on live right now that might be trying to feed me a question that I could respond to. And no, I don't see anybody live. So so let me just go over to the Transcendent channel and look at the community comments here. And of course, I've posted some of my well, most of my shorts that I cut out of the Headroom Tonight comedy series on the YouTube channel called Headroom Tonight. I end up putting some of those on this channel on Transcendent YouTube channel, as well as on Future Wise, Finding Your Groove. And the idea is to broach hard to talk about topics with comedy, not to lighten the load, but actually just to kind of, make it a little less heavy, and to help reach people with comedy, and maybe help them find some relief from some of the things that I've found from my encounters in life, and help people feel like you're not so alone. That's kind of what laughter can be kind of comforting and soothing. And I'm not meaning it as intended to create entertainment for escape or escapism. Usually, my approach is to try to use it to highlight and help people discover things that they hadn't noticed before, to let them look deeper into their own lives. So that was the objective here. And so someone says, and I kind of like this when people are kind of shocked at my comedy skit and don't know really what to do with it. And part of it is positioning in the algorithm world of these platforms, social media platforms, to not get categorized as, just an oil man or a white guy recovering from trauma, and or somebody that's speaking from a place that is quite common, because if you've listened to my channel and know more about me, I've come back from a couple of near-death experiences and been to the top of athletics and business and technology, and had the chance to do some things even in the entertainment world, film and TV, and found that my calling was something aligned elsewhere, and this is it. And I'm speaking to it right now. So I have a lot of passion, a lot of creativity that I've been trying to channel into something, and we're learning more and more. I'm learning more and more about where that is. So I appreciate your comments and your feedback here. So so I mean, a lot of these comments that I'm seeing here are on the videos that are Headroom Tonight. Some of them are kind of getting the jokes that I'm putting out there and responding to the comments. Oh, there's some stuff about Trump and Epstein. I did some stuff on Brando and Sean Penn, and I think that's I still get a big kick out of those guys. Okay, here's a serious video I did about the void, and someone is really saying they're so thankful. And then some people venting on insurance companies and the lawlessness, and they quote some scripture here. Not sure what to do with some of this. Someone called me a fake AI Democrat. Yeah, I like Sean Penn too. Someone's been watching my channel, and someone said now that we're a year in further on my content creation, they're wondering how much of what I have shared I practice on myself. Well, actually, everything that I've shared, I've practiced and held myself to generally for years, and I'm just now learning how to talk about it. In fact, one of the things that made this an interesting avenue, really kind of led the way to talk about more deeper spiritual, personal development issues, and even the trauma, was I was here in Austin, and someone had said there was somebody that needed some help, and it was a younger guy that was kind of struggling in life and had been successful in business, and he ended up telling me about this thing called human design, which is and this has been several years ago, and I went and I learned a lot more about it. So human design is kind of a merge between well, first of all, it came from a guy named, that called himself Ra Uru Hu. His original name was Alan Krakauer, and he was the son of a wealthy family in Toronto, and he ended up doing a lot of drugs and ending up in Ibiza. And he had a lot of awakening experiences and ended up teaching and putting together a whole system that was shared with him by some voices that he had encountered. I think it was back in 1986. And a really rough story, about this guy. But he pulled together a lot of different modalities, you might say, from astrology to some I Ching. I'm not going to try to tell you all about the system right here, but you can look at it online. Human design. There's a lot of people making YouTube videos to help you learn more about it. But someone sent me, after I started looking into what this guy told me, the guy was like, near suicide, and he mentioned this about human design and told me, I seem like someone that might identify with the originator of human design, because I've been trying to fit a lot of things that I've encountered in my life together and make sense of. And I've also had some trauma that I've dealt with and healing, and people really had opened up to me with a lot of their struggles in life. So I went and looked into it, and before I knew it, people were sending me videos and audio files and books that had this guy had produced in this human design thing. And I took a series of videos that this guy made that was called the Gray Course. And I think he made 4 audio versions of this multi-day course where he would talk about the deeper and darker aspects of what had been conveyed by this kind of mystical voice to him over the course of a few days in Ibiza. And so I took each one of those courses that Ra Uru Hu had delivered and turned them into my own performance. And I made, each one of them was at a different era or point in his life. And so I dressed and kind of got into the character at the stage in life that Ra was in, and delivered I made transcripts of these audio files, and I delivered it to online and made videos of it. And his heirs, he died in like 2011, I think it was. And his heirs run this kind of a software company that, they vend his audios and videos and all the material around human design. And they filed a complaint with, I think I had this on YouTube, and had that channel taken down. And it was, I didn't really believe in the material 100%, but it's really a very, feels really bad whenever you have something that you've put a lot of time and effort in and put it out there. And I was actually getting a lot of interaction with people around the world, made some friends, from this process, some really good friends. And, but I had that channel just totally it was suddenly just not there. And the contact with YouTube was next to impossible, because they'd destroyed all of my email addresses that were related to the channel. It was very, I wouldn't say it's devastating, because I do know what devastating is, but it was very surprising to me how invested I was in this, and that I had these connections with people around the world, and I never really got those back. except for I did hang on to maybe a half dozen of those that I still have some contact with. But it got me to really start to put myself out there to talk about these things, and I was in character with trying to portray raw in delivering this message, almost like in a Mark Twain sense, of just sitting there and kind of opining and talking to the camera. And I was just at the tail end of a 5-year Meisner acting, a very aggressive, formal program that I had been doing with Laurel Vouvray here in Austin, who studied with Sanford Meisner directly in New York, back in the day. But I that's what really got me out and doing these videos online. And so I ended up starting this YouTube channel called Transcendent and putting it out there, and it's grown into a channel that has, let's see, well, it's got about 3,800 subscribers now. And the videos don't pay me much. They don't really cover even the production cost. So a lot of this work that I've done on both FutureWise and on Transcendent are really just out of something I enjoy doing and feel like there might be some material benefit, at some point, to monetize and enjoy some return. But otherwise, it's charity and good practice for something that I had been preparing to do. I started doing this whenever I was really just hoping to hone my skills for more acting and production work. But it's really turned into being an online, and what do they call it, a solo creator, has become something that's been quite a passion for me. Obviously, I have created a little studio here that I initially shot auditions for movies and TV shows and a few commercials, here. And it's evolved into more of a full-time production for Headroom Tonight, FutureWise Energy, and Transcendent. And over the past 3 or 4 years, I think I've put out well over 1,000 videos, for the various social media platforms that are out here, as well as written 28, or I've written more than this, but I've published 28 books that are all on KDP. So Roach Creative can give you more information about that, and see if I've got any people on live right now. I don't want to leave anybody hanging, and I do not. So I'm not even sure that I've got the streaming software working 100% right now, but I'm trying. So I'm going to sign off, and I've been on here a little bit over 20 minutes, and I'll go ahead and throw this up there on some other of my platforms to tell people I'm starting to do some live streaming, and I realize that I need to tell people when I'm going to be on, and try to find a good time to do this, and pick a good format and some topics to help people build some expectations around. So wishing you all the best.